Happy lunch hour, gang. All right. So, you guys remember, a while back, maybe a couple of years now, when Trump came out and said, they're not coming after me, they're coming after you. I'm just standing in the way. If you don't think there's a lot of truth to that, you're sadly mistaken. Like I said in the title, how long until they come after us? I'll give you just what's going on here recently. Starting today, in New York, they're starting a trial to liquidate Trump's business assets. Okay, stuff he worked for his entire life. The whole he defrauded banks or miscalculated what properties were worth. Funny, the banks didn't do. If the banks are saying this, then they need to go look internally about doing their own due diligence. The joke about Mar-a-Lago being worth, what was it, $18 million, the 20 acres that Mar-a-Lago's on. But there's a property just up the street that's on 1 acre that is supposedly worth $40 million. I mean, I don't know. Most everything Trump's got covered in gold, right? What's all that one covered in? Platinum? I mean, I don't, who knows, But keep going on. In Minnesota, they're trying to bankrupt Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, cutting off his credit, and now they're having his employees audited. Okay. How about Georgia? Colton Moore, Republican. He's been kicked out of the Republican caucus because he wanted to defund Fani Willis. Okay. How about Texas? Remember Ken Paxton? He was acquitted in his impeachment trial. Oh, now they're impaneling a grand jury so they can indict him federally. We can't win in the state court, so let's go after him in federal court. Okay. How about in Washington? The House is now talking about today about expelling Matt Gaetz, the guy that was elected by the people, because, the House members don't like him. So whatever the people that he represents sent him to Washington to do, they got to get rid of him, right? Do I have to tell you about Tucker Carlson? Hell, he was fired by Fox News because he was too close to the truth. How soon do they come after you? The only crime any of these people have committed is standing up to a corrupt regime who steals elections, who steals money from the people that they're supposed to be working for. How soon do they come after us? I mean, do we have to talk about censorship online? Not at all, okay? We know of channels that have been demonetized. We know channels that have been completely shut down on YouTube. I got completely shut down on Twitter, okay? Because they don't want the truth to come out. This is the problem. You think of, well, they haven't come after me yet, and it goes back to the old joke about Nazi Germany. First they came after the Protestants, then they came after, yada, yada, that one, okay? Then they came after me and there was nobody else to stand up for me. That's what's going on. And you look at how they're doing it. They're dismantling the Constitution. And nobody puts all the pieces together at once. But let's go through a couple of things. Let's talk about the amendments, okay? The First Amendment, the freedom of religion, the freedom of speech, the freedom of the press, the freedom of assembly, and the freedom of petition, okay? Freedom of religion, I don't know. Have the Christians in this country started getting persecuted by the government? I think we'd all agree on that one. Freedom of speech, I don't know. If you get online and say anything, oh my God, we've got to shut you down. We've got to call you a racist. We've got to do whatever, right? Freedom of the press, I don't know. The liberal press can say whatever they want, but God forbid if you're Andy No, or if you are, what's his name, who used to have Project Veritas, James O'Keefe. They'll shut you down. You're too close to the truth. Freedom of assembly? Yeah, ask all those people from January 6th how well that worked out for them, okay? People that didn't go into the building, people that weren't even there, have been arrested for that, have had their houses broken into, have been subject to getting fired, getting indicted, whatever it would be, right? Okay, yeah. Let's move on. How about the Second Amendment? Do we even need to talk about this? Okay, everywhere wants to take away your weaponry. New York, a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago now, starts doing background checks on buying ammunition, right? But you have a right to bear arms, a right to that, okay? Let's talk about the Third Amendment. We're going to kind of maneuver this one just a hair, but that one's the one that prohibits the quartering of soldiers in your house. So let's see if we got this right. We've had many states, many governors come up and say, gee, if you've got an extra bedroom, house a bunch of illegals, right? And all those illegals happen to be military-age men. Gee, are they asking you to house the people that are going to fight against you? I know that may be a stretch, but let's kind of put pieces together here, all right? Fourth Amendment, search and seizure. Again, do we have to go over this? Hi, I'm from the FBI and we're coming in your house. Do you have a warrant? No. Let's go back to Liberty Safe, okay? They just take whatever they want, right? You know, let's talk about all these civil asset forfeitures that go on. Let's talk about the safe deposit boxes in California. What, about a year ago, where they were worried about a couple of people laundering money, drug money through there, and they confiscated everything in every safe deposit box? How many stories have you heard about somebody driving down the road with cash? You know, they've got their life savings in cash, taking it with them because, gee, I don't know, maybe they don't trust banks. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't know where this money came from. We're going to take it from you. Now it's up to you to prove that it's actually yours, not us to prove that you got it it's ill-gotten goods, right? Okay. Fifth Amendment, grand jury, double jeopardy, self-incrimination, due process, right? Yeah, so let's see. The grand jury system has gotten completely corrupt where you have, Fannie Willis or knucklehead up in New York, Alvin Bragg, or the guy who's going after Trump. They'll lie to a grand jury to get an indictment. That's fine, okay? And then they'll try to get court orders to prohibit you, the defendant, okay, from telling the truth, right? Let's take a look at all that. How about the Sixth Amendment? We can just keep on going down the list here. The right to a speedy trial. Again, I go back to January 6th. What is it? 2.5 years they are now incarcerated with no charges against them, in solitary confinement. Where's their trial? Oh, well, we haven't figured out what to charge them with yet. So this goes back to the find me the person and I'll find a crime. That's not the way our country's supposed to work, okay? Eighth Amendment, as we continue on, Seventh Amendment, jury trial in civil lawsuits, okay? So far, this one they haven't figured out how to mess with. Eighth Amendment, excessive fines, cruel and unusual punishment. Gee, should we start taking a look at some of these fines that they give for speaking your voice at a school board meeting and you're fined? But oh my God, kill 3 people in Indianapolis running from the cops at 120 miles an hour? You're out on $1,000 bail. Cause billions of dollars in damage in Portland or Kenosha or whatever, we won't even charge you. Sit at the Speaker of the House's desk, you go to jail. Okay. Again, January 6th, cruel and unusual punishment, solitary confinement. I don't know, that seems to be a little bit cruel. Not allowing them to talk to their attorneys, not allowing them to talk to their families, that seems to be a little unusual. Okay. And you go on and on and on. We are giving away our rights piece by piece by piece. and nobody's doing anything about it. Oh, sure, we talk on YouTube. What can we do? If somebody has an answer, please let me know, okay? But torches and pitchforks ain't it. I'd still love to, the only thing I can come up with is you vote with your wallet and say, okay, I'm not supporting this place anymore. I'm not doing, that's about it. When we say no, it gets somewhere. Ask Bud Light. Ask Target how well voting with our dollars work. It works well. Maybe they don't change their ideas. I mean, Bud Light is still hardcore. We're pro Dylan Mulvaney until the shareholders kind of look at this and go, we need to replace this board because we're losing our ass. Okay. We are not safe anymore in our own country because these oligarchs, these elitists, are doing whatever they can to tear down everything that this country stands for. Democrats and rhinos, okay? There are about 24 in Washington that actually will stand up for the people. The rest of them ain't worth anything more than tits on a board, okay? And we just reelect them, send them back, go, okay, we'll do it. We haven't seen enough pain yet. That's why nothing's gotten done. That's why the people aren't standing up yet. There's too many people in this country that still believe, oh, this is all short-term. This is transitional, okay, that we'll eventually come out of this. Do I hope that the election next year goes a different direction? Yes. Do I think that that's the end-all, be-all, and that's going to save the country? No, not by a long shot, because one man or 535 men and women cannot undo the disaster that has already been done. Y'all heard me Saturday. I hoped that the government was shut down because it's to the point where it needs to be torn down and rebuilt. Simple as that, okay? Not destroy the Constitution, that stands. But the people there who swear an oath to uphold the Constitution sure as hell forgot about that, okay? They work for us, not the other way around. We didn't send them there because their decisions were what we wanted to live by. We sent them there to represent our choices, what we want done. The overwhelming majority of the people in the United States do not believe in funding Ukraine, no matter what the media tells you, okay? Yet we keep sending money. We had the bill passed the other day that Saturday night, to keep funding the government with 2 hours and 54 minutes to spare. That did not include funding the government until all of a sudden we found out there was a secret backroom deal that was cut between Kevin McCarthy and the Democrats to put something up for vote this week to continue funding Ukraine. When are we going to start funding Americans? When are we going to start funding Hawaii? When are we going to start funding Florida or Mississippi or Kentucky or any of these other places that have been destroyed lately? When are we going to start funding the border and stopping people from coming across? I'll give you a quick story. This happened here over the weekend, okay? In the middle of freaking nowhere, Tennessee. About a half a mile from my house, there was a guy who rode his bike and parked his bike on the side of the street and decided to go to sleep in the middle of the street. Fortunately, people saw him and didn't run him over and called the police, and he was taken in. Okay? What happened to him after that, I have no idea. But this is where we've gotten to, where what was this guy looking for? Was he homeless? Was he a tweaker? Was he an illegal? I don't know, okay? Were they looking for something to steal? I mean, not going to get away with a whole lot riding a bicycle, okay? But you can break into a house and look for valuables, money or jewelry or guns or anything like that. Was he just looking for a vacant building to stay in? We had that problem here last year. Nobody knew it. There were a bunch of homeless people living in an empty house, nice house, for 6 months, and nobody knew it. Because again, I'm out in a community that's near a lake, and in the wintertime, this place becomes very low population. Let's just leave it at that, okay? And nobody found out about it until they almost set the house on fire. Then it was found out. Where are rights that are given to us in the Constitution, yet being trampled on by the people that we send to Washington, to each one of our respective state houses, including Tennessee, okay, that we don't matter anymore. The only people that matter are illegals. Hey, we'll house the illegals. We'll kick out the retirees from the nursing home because we need that. The New York, what is it, the right to shelter law? No, sorry. Right to take care of yourself law. You want shelter? Okay, go to a homeless shelter. That's your right to shelter. Your right to shelter isn't that new 2-bedroom apartment with the dishwasher and washing machine in it, okay, that the taxpayer has to pay for. No. They scream equity all day. No, sorry, equality. Equality of opportunity. We all are born, all of us, regardless of race, creed, color, religion, anything like that. We all are born with the same opportunity in this country. How you choose to use it is up to you. It's about time that a lot of people in this country figure that out. When we now have, latest survey, half of young adults living at home with their parents, okay? Why? Because they can't afford to live on this economy. Not that the wages aren't good enough, but that Joe has destroyed the economy and is trying to destroy the Constitution, and we are just standing by letting it happen. This should piss a lot of people off. This should piss everyone off. But there's too many flower children, whatever the hell you want to call them, sheep, that have their heads so far up their posterior they can't figure it out. It's like, oh, I can't afford to buy a house, I can't afford food, I can't afford gasoline, I can't afford to buy a car, but Joe's doing a great job. Really? Okay. You know, go take a look at the story that comes out of Wyoming over this weekend, okay? And I'll thank Johnny Finance for sending me this one. I'll link this below just so you can kind of read it, right? We got to save the environment, right? Headline, Cowboy State Daily. Electric vehicle battery factory will require so much energy it needs a coal plant to power it. Yeah, okay. It's just idiotic. Joe sent today, made it stopped. No more government-funded travel to go to any sort of symposium, forum, or whatever that promotes fossil fuels. The lie that is fossil fuels. Okay. Because we shouldn't have that. Because, you know what? Semi-trucks run so well on solar energy. You know, Las Vegas would run so well on wind. You know, or New York City, you know. I've told you guys before, just the personally owned vehicles, just the cars, not business vehicles, not trucks, not nothing. If you wanted to run all those on solar power, you would have to cover the entire states of Nevada and Utah in solar panels, and that would generate enough electricity to run cars. That's it. No houses, no businesses, no streetlights, no stoplights, no diesel trucks, no nothing. Cars. And that's, of course, that we all are driving a shoebox on wheels. It's about time that the people wake up and realize that Trump was exactly right. They're coming after us. He's just standing in the way. And well, that